Welcome guys to another Regalia and Chill deck profile. Today we're going to be ending the Alice cluster format shortly. We got a week, so we thought we would give you guys a nice little brew we've been working on for
2 weeks.
2 weeks. A lot of people liked it, so we're planning to show it before we can't play it anymore. So give us a little breakdown, Kevin. What's going on?
I decided to play Flute at my locals yesterday, and I took third. I lost to a black book aggro. I definitely bricked game 3, and that deck was very, very, very aggressive. There wasn't too much I could do, but the Dragon Maiden time, kind of really good for value, like really good.
But you beat Priscia pretty. I mean,
it wasn't
was
easily, but
game.
I beat him game 1 because he. We grinded out, and I was able to kill his Priscia, and I was at 4 life, but he was at no cards, and I just, was able to stack my deck with Seal. So any of his top decks were just, it didn't matter. Well, I had a Water Dragon attacking for 5 every turn.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to play a gimmicky kind of Regalia ridiculous deck for locals for fun, while you still can,
Figure out a Wanderer deck for this.
then Flute's the way to go right now. So, without further ado, let's jump into your card choices.
Alright, to start off the rulers, I decided to play Dragon Shrine Maiden Flute. She has 1 mana to Judgment, 1 blue to Judgment, Energized blue, and then she has that interesting effect to tap to draw. She's definitely very, very good for value. Her flip side, Flute, it's a 7/8 body, not too strong at all. Releases a Seal of blue, which can come up if you're trying to go in aggro, and 1 blue and 2 colors. She can go ahead and flip herself back to the ruler form, which dodges a lot of things that isn't Moonbeam, which is definitely really good. Because I did end up playing Regalia, my stone lineup was 4 Ruler's Memoria, 3 Deepwoods, 3 Vapors, blue white, and then 1 of the Flute Stone. This stone came in clutch, every end game. It didn't matter if the deck was aggro, because you're not really winning in the beginning all the time, especially against Priscia. So in one of my matches, like I said, I had to shuffle back Seals just to stack them and draw them. And that's 11 stones. That was pretty good, pretty consistent, except when I hit this turn 1, kind of sucked. Onto the main deck, because it was Regalia based. I played 8 Regalias and 4 Bow. It's the best thing blue can have with Bow and Bear. That's really good removal. And then 4 Hydromonica. This is one of the best cards because you can.
Yeah, all we really saw was that you just kind of controlled the game with Hydro sitting there and waiting for you to search a specific card. It looked like.
Yeah, and I forgot to say one of Flute's main effects is when she does enter the field, she actually brings all stones basically from that was removed from the field back to the hand, and so it comboed very well with Hydromonica, because on the start of my turn I'd stack my deck, draw a card with Flute, draw the card I stacked, or just draw it for turn and then J activate and add this back to my hand. It's really good because you can search really any card you need and draw it if you have Water Dragon out, and it generates way too much advantage. And draw any card you need. At times when you need Severings, when they're about to play their second card, it's just 2 mana, stack it on the top, draw it, counter their cards. Onto the Resonators. I played a decent amount for a control deck, quote unquote. Flute Water Dragon. This card is broken. You play it, you can tap for stone and utilize Flute's draw ability even more, and you could even the same turn you play it, you can tap for stone. And it has a Seal, and it gets +4/+4, which becomes a 5/8 beat stick.
Yeah, a lot of people seem not to understand the fact that you can literally cast this dragon and just immediately tap for stone.
Yeah, because it's the effect that it replaces of it's a super action. You can just tap for you're replacing the fact that you can tap for stone with your J ruler with her. One of the rules that I surprisingly was able to follow, that you can't tap for, or you can't J activate then tap for stone if you do play it the same turn, or if you misplay and then J activate and then play this card. But you can tap for stone and then J activate, and this card just becomes it's the reason why you generate a lot of advantage. And the other 1-drops were Tama. This card also helps Flute Effect because it can sack itself, and whenever it leaves the field, it promotes the draw. It was more 1-mana cards that definitely helped out. Play it, draw a card, sack it, and then J-activate Flute, add it back to your hand if you need to, play it again. It definitely helped me win a game against Mikage where I had the blue Charlotte out, and I played all four of these, and then generated my hand and then sacked them all to target itself. That's a lie. She had the field spell out that gave everything -2/-2, so they just automatically died. But then I J-activated it and then added all to my hand, and then Charlotte was huge at the end of it, and I attacked for game. I played 3 Melfi's. This card was lackluster. It definitely saved me against Priscia, but as for now, I would replace it with Amaterasu's Foresight, because having more than 2 mana to be able to try to combat Priscia was a little difficult. At that time I had 4, so it was good, and I was able to negate her attack when she tried to God's Art. But other than that, she didn't do too much, but it is a body, and it does generate mana. When it gets to that point where you can't really tap for stone anymore, and everything gets stale, it just helps with the mana. And Quick Cast is really good. People have to waste a few cards to get rid of her. I played Fight Priscia, or I don't even know the full name, Slayer Overlord Priscia. This card was really good. You could bear their Resonator and then play her and hope they don't have the Severings, and pops their Resonator for whatever reason, and she can fight. Her flip effect is really good now that Lave is not a card and they can't just sack off their Resonators. Usually it's whenever it leaves or whenever it goes to the graveyard, it targets a Resonator and then take controls of it. Yeah, it was really good. Sometimes I would just hard cast it and just hope for the best. Take their shit. It's blue, so nothing has barrier. Blue, really. I played 3 Charlotte. Yeah, this card is busted. You have a hand, even if you only have 4 cards in hand, it's still barrier from 4 cards or less. 8/8 barrier. There's just nothing many people can do about it once I played her. 4 mana. It's fine for her. I definitely liked her. I won a lot of games because of her. And going forward with this deck, is definitely one of the better cards. Draw a card on enter too. And I played this card for testing, the Myth God, Blue God. I don't even know its name. Yeah, Aya. I don't even play 7 Waterstones, which was my misplay on my own, to get that full value, because I was able to play this at the end of the game. But after the Ruler's Memoria and the Shrine Stone, you can't draw a card when playing it. And Barrier Resonator is pretty good when they're trying to play like a Sylvia. They can't make this not block, and you could just block with it. But it is 4 mana. I sided it out every game, though.
This is so good. I sided it out every game.
And because we are playing a blue deck, I played Bear Magic. This card is insane. 1 mana, blink their Resonator, lose its effects, whatever, makes it 4/4 for Priscia and Bow. Bear Bow.
4 wasn't a little too much?
No.
You don't think 3 would have been?
No. 4
sufficient?
Was trying to get trying to get rid of the aggro. Plus, I played Fight Priscia, so if I only had 1 bow, or as many, it's technically 8 bow uses, and this is 8 bears technically. That it did work, but I didn't draw this one ever, and it didn't really help it when I didn't draw it, and they just aggroed me anyway. But it was a strong card, and it was a free discard when I had more than 7 cards in hand. I didn't feel bad. Because I did play green and white, played Seal, best counterspell. I'm going to miss it when it's gone. Counter target, anything. You could search it, stack it, and then seal their card. Towards the end of the games, you shuffle it back into your deck. Seal their stuff, seal the deal. That's what Seal of Wind and Light does. I wish I played the Moon like Apollo. I wanted to, tech the 1, to make it unchaseable, but getting too greedy there.
No one realized by his terrible humor he made a pun.
Yeah. And then I played Dawn of the Earth. This card's also insane. The being able to untap +2/+2 barrier and draw a card. Every effect of it draws a card. Is really strong. The remove, for Fox, if they try to play a Resonator without casting it, it gets removed instead. For the books, same thing. But in the case of the Black Puck, the 1 game I won, he tried to J-activate, and I just dawned and drew a card, and there was nothing he could do about that. But that untap effect came in handy all the time. You're attacking with the Charlotte, untap for +2/+2 barrier, again, attack for game. I only played 2 Severing Winds. I don't actually love this card. I never hard drew it unless I either opened it or never drew it, so I'd have to stack it, which worked for me because after I used after I used one, my opponent would play around it, or whenever they're forced to play the second card, I was able to stack the other one, draw it, and counter their shit. Really good, really good. And then I played this card that's cycling out, Interdimensional Escape. It was okay. Whenever someone this deck can't really deal with a full field, so if they're like rushing me with a field, let's say like a white book, and they have a bunch of millions out, you just gotta be able to widespread. At instant speed too definitely helped. It didn't really come in handy much, but I got value out of it when they played like 3 Resonators, and I'd play this, and then we'd all have to choose one. And the only one I'd usually have is either Blue Dragon or a Charlotte, and try to win the game from there.
I think just bumping it down to 1 just in case. I don't know. I feel like it's something you can just be like, well, I need to search this because the board presence is way too high.
I agree. I definitely sided out 1, like at least every game, if not both. And that was actually it for the main deck. That was 41 cards. As far as the side deck, it was semi-local based. I thought there was going to be more players, and I thought I was going to play something different, or different types of decks. And I played Lunar Lakes for Fox. 2 Gale Force as well for Fox and Flying. Sided in against Prisia. Worked. I didn't side in Lunar Lake at all. No, I ended up not playing a Fox deck, and this would have been helpful for Fox, but it worked with Prisia as well. I played the final battle, and I was thinking that at one point where if I only had like 2 mana and one was a Ruler's Memoria and the other was a blue, and if I had a bear in my hand, I could at least stop something, and final battle a field if I was able to stop it, or a Melfi like a Prisia. Didn't really come in handy at all, so I didn't really. I sided in against Prisia and I didn't use it. Okay at best. Some of the cards I did use was Millennia Bond. Against Control, you also seal the deal. If they tried to, any type of chant, even if it's a bear magic, you're still getting value, even though they're casting it for 1 mana. Anything, any chant, just counter draw. We call it a day. And I do play blue and green Resonators, so I could have gone for that treasury item, so I didn't play any, unfortunately. 2 Schrodinger Explosions. This card is really good. I sided in against any the aggro matchup, the Prisia matchup, and I would have sided in against any of the control matchups that I played, because this is just that one card you just play it and hope it resolves. It's the one card you're gonna play. You're gonna live the next turn if it does resolve, whereas you gain life. X and 300. That's a lot of life. I did it for 18 to the Black Book and the Prisia matchup, and they just couldn't. They couldn't come back. And I'd usually always target their Resonators unless they had nothing, because you're still just trying to generate advantage have them lose advantage and not lose the game. I definitely like this card, but when Ruler's Memorial cycles out, I'm not gonna play it.
I mean, the deck will change as soon as
completely change. Yeah.
It won't work like this anymore.
Moonbeam. I sided it in against Prisia and did not use it at all. It doesn't hit Black Book. It doesn't hit Fox, and my local tries to play all these cards, and by the time that it's game 2, they side in Wind Secluded Refuge, so the 1 Moonbeam is more or less useless. I did side it in against Prisia, didn't use it to kill Prisia, but drew it into it, so it was just a dead card. I played 1 Fairy of Sacred Visions. This card was good. I like how it can sack itself, and then I can J-activate Flute and add it back to my hand. I'm gonna miss this when it's gone. 1/6 body, very strong. Hit standbys too, but Lunar Lake was the only one I was scared of, and at that point I didn't mind either. I played Shackles of Ice just in case I decided to play Al Hamaat. This is weird only because it does stop Flute, but Flute's worst matchup is Tree, or even Al can generate a lot more advantage than I can, and I'm not playing any Nameless Mist or anything, so I'd rather stop them from being able to use all their mana counters for value. And if they do remove this, I go back to being able to, because it turns off my ruler as well, I'll go back to be able to draw and generate advantage. It's a really good card. I sided in 1 Ryula. This card is really good. It was for those matches where I was forced to J-activate Flute early to try to deal with my opponent's Resonators or deal with anything, or if I was getting ready to lose. And they killed Flute, and I just played her, revived Flute. Even though she doesn't do much on her flip side other than give me that one comeback advantage if a lot of things left the field. You still want the opportunity to play 1 mana 7/8 body, which is good for 1 mana. And then I sided this in against Tree because Flute can't really deal with Tree at all. Nothing in this deck list can. And Primo would have been very helpful only because the only thing that would have mattered was just J activating him and keeping him alive. I would have sided both of these in if I had to play against Tree. And he can control the board until I'm at a state where I can just try to go for game and keep shuffling back there.
Don't you think Valentina would have been a better side for that?
I was worried that they would just get rid of the one Valentina and I'd have to wait to get the stone to get the Valentina. And Valentina is better in my opinion, but for this where I'm playing Ruler's Memoria, switching to him isn't that bad. Whereas because all the blue cards generated me advantage and the white cards, draw cards, I won't lose too much advantage and it's more or less free once I hit them for 5 or 6, and that's all I would need to do.
All right, so we've covered most of the profile so far. Is there any last words you'd like to give the deck before it goes into complete overhaul?
The best things in life are free. 0 mana Regalia and chill. I'm gonna miss the Regalias.
If you guys didn't realize, our name is founded by these terrible yet amazing cards.
They're God's items.
Terrible for the game, but it feels just so great.
It's so good to play cards. I just love it. Turn 0. No one else likes turn 0 wins.
I mean, a lot of people like red.
I should have played the DK and just played all the other Regalias and just JX-bait Flute after sacking the white sword and then adding it to my hand.
Would you bring this to a bigger event than locals?
I would. I would definitely have to make side it to, or main it to beat Priscia consistently, more consistently than anything. But like Bow is a lot and Bear, but sometimes just not enough. I couldn't deal with a Ruler when they J activated, like right there and then, and none of my cards really deal with it. I have to run my creatures into him and then J activate, add him back, which is how I was able to kill a Priscia. I buffed the Melfi with Dawn of the Earth, and it was a 5, and then the Blue Dragon hit the seal with a 5, rammed them both into Priscia. That killed Priscia, and then just J activated, added those 2 cards back, and played the dragon.
What a unique way to kill Priscia.
It's attacking into it. I don't think it was enough. So I would definitely add something to help me with it, but with these colors, I'm not sure what will be, or what is out there, at least for the Ruler part.
What is the dominant build for Flute after rotation?
This is definitely one of the harder decks to build, because it has so much to it that you can't put everything in it. I figured Regalia was the best way to go.
You heard it from him, folks. If you like a decent, okay deck that does well in locals, that isn't linear and very complicated to play this deck.
Yeah, Flute for the win.
Flute for the win. She's great though. I expect her to still be pretty decent in the future. We need more people to try to pilot it. Yeah. I feel like with enough weeks and months of testing, someone will figure it out.
Absolutely.
But for now, this has been another deck profile from Regalia and Chill. Stay tuned for more. We hope to have more updates and more just updates in general about cards for the future. Radio clusters coming up. The new structure decks are coming out next week. We're gonna have a lot more content towards the new cluster coming up, and new cards to look out for, and some new brews going on.
I'd like to say goodbye, Alice Cluster.
Goodbye, Alice Cluster. We'll never forget you, but you'll probably come back.
You're always
she hops through dimensions, man.
Everything.
You never know. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Stay tuned for more.